I mean, you
hashtag chill.
yeah, right. You are literally a serial entrepreneur. And so you have your wine cellar, which I think is amazing, yep. As well as your. There you go. I mean, you should have sent some my way.
I know.
We could have been drinking together.
I know, and that I will definitely do that the next time, and I'm going to have them send you some your way for future because you have not tried my Seagram's Escape Peach Bellini. You are missing out, definitely.
That sounds amazing.
And some of my Bellinis made its way to Turks and Caicos as well. So
it's good. I love that. I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Cynthia, what's behind the drive of, like, have you always been like that? I know you started modeling early on, but you have business after business after business. What's behind that?
Well, I've always been ambitious. You know, I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama, but I actually grew up in a small town called Tuscumbia, Alabama, but nobody really knows where that is, so I just say Huntsville, Alabama, child. I'm a country girl at the end of the day. I left there when I was 18 years old to pursue my modeling career in New York City, which I was there for years, and then I met my ex-husband, and I moved to Atlanta. No plans of being on a reality show. I'm a Pisces. I'm a lover of love. I just kind of go with my heart, and I'm not really afraid to get out of my comfort zone and try new things. Anyway, what was the question now? Because I done got into something else.
Yeah, your drive.
My drive.
About your drive, yeah.
Okay, so my drive. I was getting to that. So, I've always been an ambitious person. In terms of my drive, I grew up. I don't want to say poor, but definitely we didn't. Lower middle class at best. I'll just say that. Didn't have a lot, but we always had enough, and that was fine. But I always wanted more. I always wanted to be in a position to be financially independent. So not having that growing up, when you have, financial independence, you have options, you have choices, my mom ended up staying in relationships because she didn't have that. And I always said, I never want to be in that position. Mm-hmm. And I didn't grow up thinking, I want to be a boss, but I did grow up thinking I want to be able to have my own money so that if I'm ever in any situation I do not want to be in, I can change that situation. So yes, and what pushes me is probably the fear of not having money, the fear of not having choices, the fear of being stuck in a situation that I don't want to be stuck in. And that's pretty much it. And that's like that whole poverty conscious mentality. But, when you grow up poor, you're like, you don't want to be poor no more. Exactly. I ain't got to be the richest, but please don't make me be poor. Yep. So, that's pretty much where everything comes from. And then just in terms of being on the show, it's such an amazing platform. So for me, I don't want to be on this show just to be about drama. Like, I want to be inspiration for other women that want to start businesses. So for me, I've started a business every year that I've been on this show, with the exception of the COVID year. I've always wanted to try to be that example to women. Like, we can have fun. Of course, we're going to disagree. And of course, it's a drama-based show. I get all of that. But at the same time, I feel like that balance of just showing, I love watching, my castmates and all their business ventures. Yeah. I am a supporter of Black women, Black businesses, and I always want to help create that balance of, hey, we're over here turning up and we're over here, but whatever, I'm over here opening up this wine cellar as well. Yeah. And I think that's important. I think people don't only just watch the show for the drama. I think they also need inspiration from women who do come from humble beginnings, who are able to end up on television and make it work for them and create other opportunities as a result of being on television.
Absolutely. So we obviously we've seen a lot of your businesses on the show, and I'm assuming that a lot of the businesses have been thriving and that they've done well for you and for your family. But do you have stories that you've tried things and it just didn't work out? It didn't pan out, businesses that have failed?
Girl, how much time do you have?
Some of that.
How much time do you have? Of course I do.
Okay.
Of course I do. As an entrepreneur, of course you're going to, I get approached with tons of business opportunities all the time. First of all, everything is not for me. I've learned the power of saying no to some things. And it's not just about, this is going to make me money. But if it doesn't make sense for my brand, and I've been able to do a really good job of having a consistent brand where, really top companies want to pursue me. Mm-hmm. So, with that said, going back to the original question, I absolutely want to make sure that I am constantly putting that positive image out there, that business image out there, being someone on the show that, again, is someone that you guys can always know, well, if Cynthia can do it, I can do it. Mm-hmm. That's very, very important to me.
Yeah. And I think that, so what we were talking about is equally, because it is inspiring. Obviously, you see a Black woman or Black women mm-hmm. who are thriving in their businesses, putting it out there for the world to see. But it's also mm-hmm. inspiring when you know what, she hasn't always succeeded in something.
Oh, for sure. That's what you were asking me about originally. Yeah. Situations where it didn't work out. I had a hairline in the business. I had a hairline early on that didn't work out, and that just ended up being basically just not the right situation with the partners that approached me about the deal. So a lot of deals kind of end up going left. A lot of businesses don't work out because the people that you're in business maybe kind of don't work out. And mm-hmm. the more, you learn, and the more famous you become on the show, you have to be careful about, who you're in business with. Yeah. In the beginning, you just got on TV, so you're happy that people are coming at you like, yeah, I want to do a hairline. Yeah, I want to do a jean shirt line. I want to do all of that stuff. But you also, as a businesswoman, you have to be careful about who you do business with, because everyone does not do the right business.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I've definitely had some situations like that I had to walk away from. And now I'm much more cautious about who I do business with. I pretty much try to invest in myself and do my own businesses, unless it's a company that I'm very comfortable with, that I've researched their background. I have, agents and stuff in place now to help me vet things out. When you first come, you don't have a publicist, you don't have an agent, you don't have, all these, you don't have a team in the beginning to help you figure it out. And you're just happy to be getting the opportunities, but every opportunity is maybe not the right opportunity for you. And it's definitely, you got to see who you're in business with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, your daughter Noelle, we've watched her grow up on the show as well, and now we're watching her as an adult, and she's doing her own thing. What are some of the lessons that you try to teach her as far as like business? Is she entrepreneurial as well?
You know what, she really is. Noelle is living out in Los Angeles now. You guys watched her go off to college, mm-hmm. and college didn't work out for her. It just wasn't the right choice for her. Now, I'm very big on college and education and all of that. However, I didn't go because I couldn't afford to go where I wanted to go, and just was not a part of my story and my journey. So, her dad, Leon, and I, we never wanted to force it on her, but we were excited when she wanted to go, and we were super excited that she, chose a Black college, Howard University. Yes. And it didn't work out. And that's okay, because she went and she tried, and she decided she wanted to move to LA, and she wanted to go more into acting and influencing, being an influencer. And she's doing very, very well. And one of the things I'll say about Noelle, and just about being a mom in general, you can hope that your kids are paying attention. You can want your kids to want the things that you want for your kids, but it's really truly up to your kids to be great. I can't live Noelle's life. I can't make her do anything that she does not want to do. I can't make her be successful. All I can do is be a good mother to her and lead by example. And the good news is, all this time she's been paying attention to my hustle and my grind. So, it's not a matter of me being in her face all the time, like, hey, Noelle, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm like, listen, first of all, you got to be happy. Yeah. You got to be happy, because no matter how successful you are, if you don't have happiness and peace, then it kind of doesn't really matter. Yep. So for me, that was more important. She was not happy in college, and I would go visit her, and I would be like, what is going on? This is not my child. Like, this is like, why are you here if you don't want to be here? And honestly, in a lot of ways, and most kids do that. She's like, well, I mean, you guys really wanted me to go to college and whatever. I'm like, girl, listen, you can't live your life for me. And if I ever made you feel like you had to make this choice for me, then let's pack up your stuff now and leave, because it's not going to work if you don't want to be there. It's not going to work if it's not coming from your heart. Like, you can't live for me. My life was my life and my journey, and your life and your journey will be yours as well. So I'm incredibly proud of Noelle. She's finding her way. She just turned 21 years old in November, and she's still finding herself. She's still finding her identity. You know, as a celebrity kid, you got to remember her dad's been in movies for a long time. Noelle's always been around the business long before I got on reality television. Mm-hmm. Leon used to be the famous one in the family, and I used to take his pictures. Now I'm famous. She's famous. You know. Yep. And so, with that said, she never wanted to be like us because we're her parents. She's like, she wanted her own identity, and a lot of her identity is being Leon's daughter and Cynthia Bailey's daughter. And Noelle wants to be Noelle. And I think a lot of celebrity kids struggle with that because they are their own person and they have their own life and their own journey. So she's finding her and she's doing her. And I support her in every way.
That's awesome. Now, you've shared your daughter with us, her dad with us as well, your husband, your life. But I'm really curious about your friends outside of the show. Now, we don't get to see your friends. I mean, maybe if you have an event or something like that, we'll see them in the background, right? Right. I'm sure you have really close ride or die friends who are not a part of the show. How did they feel about situations that you may get into on the show?
Oh my God.
Do they want to jump in there? How do they handle that?
Well, first of all, my friends outside of the show, they, a lot of them were very leery of me going on the show. At the time I came on the show was season 3 for me, and it was very drama based. And if you guys haven't figured this out already, I'm not really that dramatic. Right. I'm not super confrontational. I really am about that love and light life. I really do come in peace. Like, you have to come get me all the way out of my bag for me to really come, like, honestly. And that's why I pretty much, I'm closer to certain women on the show than others, but I'm pretty cool with most of them, for the most part. But yeah, my friends, and I don't want to say my real friends, my friends outside of the show, because, I have real friendships, obviously, with the ladies on the show as well. A lot of them, they watch the show. Some of them actually have told me they can't watch the show because they just don't like some of the things that happen on the show.
Wow.
They don't like some of the, the dynamics of, just even some of the people that I'm friends with on the show. If anything happens, if someone goes against me, they just get so personally invested. They're like, I just cannot watch this. I cannot watch this. So they're very protective of me in that way. A lot of my friends, I've wanted to be a part of different things that I do on the show, but they don't want to be on the show. They don't want to be on TV. They're not, they have their own lives and families, and they just honestly don't want to be a part of it. And I have to understand that and respect that. With that said, I have great friends. And, I moved to Atlanta from New York. Most of my friends still live in New York City. And, I still get a lot of love and support from them. But most of them were pretty mortified when I said I was coming on the show. And,
wow.
And for me, I was like, well, but they did, they were kind of mortified when I decided to moved to Atlanta from New York. I had a very successful life in New York as a model, and I was doing very well. And I moved for love, and they were like, "Why are you moving to Atlanta? Like, who lives in New York City? New York is a very pro New York. It's like, girl, you're in New York. Everybody's trying to get to New York.
Yeah,
you don't move from New York to Atlanta. You move from Atlanta to New York.
That's right, especially if you've made it in New York. So
thank you. And if you can make it in New York, you can truly make it anywhere. So if you balling out of New York, you are successful. You have arrived. Yeah. And that's just, how they felt about it. But and then when I decided to go on the show, I got a lot of pushback from our friends. Like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Have you seen the show? They're going to eat you up alive. And trust and believe, when I came on first season, I came in with the attitude of, hey, if they're nice to me, if I'm nice to them, these girls will be nice to me. Who could not like me? Like, I'll just be cool with them. I'm going to be best friends with everyone. And girl, when I tell you they lit my ass on fire, I was like, wait, what is going on? They had me looking like a stalker, like Nene Stalker with the whole friend contract. My marriage was falling apart before I could even get married. We were like, the money we had, we were losing it. Like, I was like, how can all this happen? And I had to really live that on the show and in real life, because that wasn't, the storyline thing comes up a lot, but I've never had to make up a storyline. Like, my storyline is my life, and I've always been very transparent, probably to a fault, to be honest. But I don't know any other way to do this. You know, I'm okay with people seeing me at the top, seeing me at the bottom, you know, the peaks, the valleys, like the good, the bad, because that's life and that's real.
Yeah, I think that is what people really like about you, because you are really just real. That's probably one of the best words to describe it. But speaking of that, there's so many people, and I've had chats with a lot of people who've done reality TV, and people have different things to say about editing and how they're showcased on a show. Do you have any qualms about how you're presented? Is that pretty accurate how you are, or is some of the stuff like, listen, they know they was wrong for how they edited that part?
Well, of course. I mean, if I could just get in that editing room, honey, just one season, like my life would be amazing. You know, we shoot so much footage. You know, I'm pretty neutral from the most part, so I probably shoot more than anyone because I get invited to everything. I really love and, you know, supporting all the women. Even if we're not in a good place, I'm still going to support you if you're doing something good, you know, for the people, especially for the culture. Like, I'm there and be like, you can start, you know, I can be mad at you again after the event. But yes, it's so funny because with editing, we shoot so much. There's so many things that we shoot that doesn't make the show. Yeah. And, you know, you guys have to remember I'm a part of an ensemble cast, so it's not just about me. So you guys really only get snippets of my life. So if I did, going back to your question that you asked me before, if I did do something else in reality TV in that lane, you know, one of the things that I could be interested in doing something that really showcased me a lot more so you guys can really get to know me, because there's always the perception out there of only what you guys see, and people think that that's completely who we are. And you guys don't, that's so many layers to all of us, you know, and we just kind of have to deal with what you guys see. And we're always at the mercy of editing. That's just how it works. Right. They have to edit the show. They can't keep everything in, but we all have so much more, you know, depth to us. There's, you know, I do other things other than, you know, be in love with Mike all day long. And some of the shows like Mike. And, you know, there's so much more to me as a person. I have so many different layers and, you know, so many other things that I would like to talk about, but it's not my show. So
that's true. Well, today is about you, though. This moment is about you. So tell us, give me 3 words, if you can do that. I mean, I know that's kind of hard, but 3 words to describe who you